a young man who thought that he could pull something over on an old man. And he took a bird and he put it in his hands, and he said to the older man, when I open my hands, is the bird dead or alive? And the old man, knowing that if he said dead, he would just say, open his hand, let the bird fly away. And if he said alive, he would squeeze the bird and it would be dead. So the old man looked at him and said, you know, it's up to you. What happens to that bird, or what happens in this case in the match, is really up to you. So I just closed my hands and like the bird was in there, and I simply opened my hands, and in my hands was an NCAA championship ring. I just wanted players to realize that what happened was within their capabilities and within their scope of what they do.
So we were up 2-0 in the Final Four, and he told us a story about some ring and a bird, and he opened his hand. He had his championship ring from the last time the team had won, and so he just told us his story, and everybody was like, oh my God. But everybody was like, I mean, it really fired us up.
The way I see a goal is you have a goal, and then you know it's the goal, and then you forget about it. And you don't, then if you think about it too often, you lose focus. So the focus is, if you want to be an Olympian, you do what you need to do, and then hopefully it'll work out. But then you have to learn more than everybody else. You have to know the game better than anybody else. You got to be in better shape than everybody else. You got to be stronger and faster and quicker and more skilled, especially more skilled than anybody else. And then you have a chance.
You can't come here wanting the easy road. If you come to Long Beach, you can expect to be patted on the back and kind of everything's okay. He expects certain things, and he's going to pull that out of you. He's very tough. I consider him very tough, but at the same time, he's the first one to be like, hey, you did this excellent today, and there's a good balance, but he really demands a lot. It's funny because if you ask Brian, like, he's very on task, and I don't want to say he's like a drill sergeant, but he will motivate you and get you kind of going and be like, okay, this is what you have to do, and if you're not doing something right, he'll let you know about it. But our practices here, when we went into games, you knew you were prepared and the game seemed easy, and that's how it's supposed to be. Practice is supposed to be very difficult. It's supposed to push you beyond your limits mentally and physically. So when you get to a game, you're like, okay, this is it.
What I respected him for, working for him, is I felt he was very consistent. It wasn't one day you get the strict coach, the next day you get the coach that wants to be your friend.
I would say he comes off as intimidating, but he's just like a real loving guy. He makes people try to feel comfortable as possible, and yeah, I would just say he just really comes off intimidating, but it's not like that at all.
I'm one of those lucky people that's working where they want to work. I think this is a special place to win, special place to be successful. You know, when you win, you get opportunities to I never applied for another job. The only other job I was interested in was the Olympic job, and then other colleges, you know, I'm just not interested. Why? You know, why? They pay more, but why?
Would he yell? Would he stop practices and, you know, call people out? Yes. And I don't think I could have taken 23 years of that if that was all he did when he coached. But he also would praise players. So I felt he did balance it. I know people say, oh my gosh, he's, you know, he yells, he's this, he's that, he's so tough. But I know what I would tell recruits when they come to games, I said, watch Brian. What you see is what you get. He's not going to be a different person on the bench because you're here watching. He's very passionate on the sideline. He wants to win every point. And to me, I'd much rather see that than someone just sitting on the sideline with their legs crossed and acting like they're bored. He coaches. I don't believe all successful college coaches are great coaches. I think some of them are great recruiters, and Brian is definitely a coach.
He's very technical. He wants everything to happen a certain way. I mean, and his technique works, so you gotta buy into it.
You always hear, Brian is a high demanding coach, but it's just a lot different when you come here. You have to definitely adjust.
I think at this level, that's what you should expect when you come into this program, and if he wasn't demanding of us to get better, then we wouldn't be where we are today. I just knew that he turned players into great and All-Americans and everything like that, so that's where I wanted to be.
I think he's lasted so long because of his love and passion for the game. Like, it's like no other coach that I've ever been coached by. He's so loyal and faithful to the game that it's just, we're like his family to him.
This is the first time in 13 years we haven't been hurt, and that's a long, long period of time. Now we're basically healthy, and so we get a chance to improve. And as the season gone on, and I think you've observed it, we get better. And as long as we can put in the training time and the practice time, we do know what we're doing, and we can develop. So the focus has only been on development, and we're just like it is every year. And this year we've had players who can stay out there and practice. But the short-term goals are, Friday night. First today's practice, and then Friday night when we play. And that's the only thing that you can think about. Again, you put your goals out there, and then you forget about them, and you work toward them, but you don't think about them. Right now the school is, we've been lucky enough to win the 3 NCAA Division I championships in the school's history. I'd love to see every team in every sport do that, but we're very, very proud that we've been able to represent the school that well.
I just know that if anything, if I ever have any problem with life or anything, personal, not personal, I can always go to him whenever.